All right, we're gonna jump right into it here, assembling the DLUX rear axle for my sporty build. Very similar to the front. We're gonna index the provide a differential with the tube. The difference is the truss is actually gonna go on the back of the axle instead of up top. So gonna make sure we get these in all nice and snug. We're gonna grab our Loctite. I already checked, and again, the hardware provided is too long. So before doing this video, I did install a screw on either side, and the axles do not fit. So I went ahead and used more of my provided hardware that I have. These are M3 by 5 millimeters, which is the ticket. So I went ahead and quickly put in all 6 of these screws. You see me there quickly checking the axle fitment. Rather than put you guys to sleep, I have this on fast mode, just to get you guys rolling here. Pretty self-explanatory on the tubes. All 6 done, ready to go. I dropped in the inside bearing for the pinion, the outside bearing for the pinion here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab the pinion. Use the 1-up grease that I use on the front side of my paintbrush and get the pinion all nice and coated. You'll see here the pinion kit from VP does come with a shim. I went ahead and installed the shim here. Slid it inside, boom, ready to go. Now we're gonna grab the ring and pinion, the ring gear. I've shown you on the locker that you can only go on one way, so don't make this too hard. Goes in one way. Just showing you here the differential placement. Now we're gonna grab a 1.5 millimeter driver and install all these screws. I didn't have my speed driver handy, so now I'm gonna speed it up here 500%. Look at me go, Loctite on every screw, getting them all installed here. Trying a new camera angle as well. Got the GoPro strapped to the chest. You can see my kid in the background running around. Now we're gonna grease up the ring gear. This stuff's pretty tacky. It doesn't fling all over, so went ahead and applied a liberal amount all the way around. Take the provided bearings, throw them on each side, and we're gonna drop it all inside. Cool part about this rear axle is it does have some pieces that capture the bearings on either side. You'll notice that there's a flat side and a round side. The flat side is going to go towards the inside. It's the only way you can really do it. I'm kind of showing you here that you can't install it wrong. Yeah, flat side to the inside. 4 screws are provided for those capture rings there. Uses a 2 millimeter driver. And we're gonna go ahead and get those installed. Now, if you over tighten this, you can affect ring and pinion mesh, so just keep that in mind if you run into any issues down the road. Check to see how tight you have those, or remove the shim that you have on the pinion. That part's up to you guys. Now I got the rear axle here. You'll notice that I put the provided shim on the axle as well as the bearing. One of these rear axles took a little bit of work to get the bearing to slide over it here. You can see here I'm not able to press it on there. I ended up forcing it. Not always recommended. You can maybe take a little bit of sandpaper or some memory cloth and get it smoothed down here, but it was a very tight fit. So at first, just checking to make sure that all my pinion mesh is good. I try to push the bearing on here. I try to hammer the bearing on at one point. Just showing you guys kind of the struggles that you may run into. It was super tight on the locker as well, so I was just making sure that the tangs were good. Bad camera view here. I apologize. It'll get better here in just a second. Grab the other axle now, and there was a burr in the pin location, so I kind of just pop that out. It's kind of oblong. It's actually not round, but I don't think it's going to matter because that hex pin is going to be held in with that set screw. Now we're going to slide the bearing in. You can see this one just pops right in. Lickety split, no big deal. You're going to want to make sure that bearing is seated so that you can put in this rear clip. I use a blue point snap ring pliers to get this snap ring in here. And this thing was a little difficult. I noticed that the snap ring, when you're trying to set it in the groove, it actually interferes with the diameter of the axle shaft. So you'll see here I get it in about 3/4 of the way with my snap ring pliers. And then I'll take my Allen driver, and you kind of got to flex the heads in there a little bit. I even thought about taking a Dremel later and Dremel them out, but it is what it is. I chucked it up in my drill here to just make sure that everything runs smoothly. Now we're going to move on to the rear axle link mounts. Same deal here. Hardware that was loose was too long for the axle housing. But the hardware that was pre-installed for the links is perfect, so I went ahead and used that hardware, red Loctite as well. Sped this bad boy up so you guys don't have to be bored with me watching it, but I do want to address what I ended up finding out on this axle. It just didn't spin super freely once I installed the shafts. I ended up pulling the snap rings back off and taking out those two shims, and everything worked perfect. So don't know if it was a variance in the axle shafts or the plastic housing or the gears, whichever the case, but definitely consider that if it's tight. If you can't move the axles by hand once everything's installed, then don't run those shims. So I'm just testing it here, making sure that everything clears the rear link mounts. Now we're going to be back onto the DLUX 3D printed upper link mount. This link mount is included with their Lunatic kit, so I wanted to make sure that I had it. I noticed a lot of guys are not running the upper link mount, so time will tell on setup whether we're going to use this or not. But I'm going to set it up as per their kit. Mostly for the YouTube tutorials and the videos here. Now this screw is super long, so I sped it up 500%, drank a ton of Monster for it, but we got that bad boy all locked in, and that's the rear axle. Pretty simple to put together, maybe 20 minutes of assembly time. You're gonna need your red Loctite, a 2mm driver, 1.5mm driver, 2.5 for the grub screw, some snap ring pliers, and some grease for the ring and pinion. That is it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you out on the rocks. Be sure to like and subscribe.